Skibidi beep papa, skibidi beep papa. I don't know what is going on over there. I think it's just the drama student or drama graduate in me that's just warming up my vocals and getting everything ready. But hey everyone, welcome to the I'm an expert at nothing but myself podcast. So last week's episode was basically me trying to figure out and trying to find my feet, and don't get me wrong, that's what's going to be happening throughout this whole season. And yeah, I think you'll notice that last week's episode had a different feel, had a different name. What was the name of the podcast last week? The name of the podcast last week was I don't even remember. I'd have to go listen to it again. But this time around, this week, this episode is going to be a bit different. Yeah. So, I managed to have a phone call with an ex-girlfriend of mine from way back. And we spoke. We spoke about us. And there were some interesting observations that came out of us speaking about us in obviously like past tense. And so how it's going to work this week is that I'm gonna play snippets from our phone call. You'll take note that there's some parts that weren't really clear. I think Lara was using her AirPods. I'm not sure, but it wasn't really clear. But there's some parts where she sounds very clear. So the snippets that I will bring to the podcast, what I will do is that I'll take snippets, and if they're not clear, I'll chip in and I will explain what is cooking, what she was saying, blah blah blah. But the purpose of this is for me to figure something out about my personality through those who I either had a thing with or fell in love with. Because I mean, through dating you get to learn a lot about someone and vice versa. So that was the purpose of this episode. And I hope you will enjoy. I hope you really will enjoy. And I hope I get to inspire you to go speak to your ex. Alrighty. Here goes nothing. And enjoy. Hi there. Hello.
Hi, it's been a while, hey?
Yeah, it has been more than a while. How's it going on your side?
Everything's good. I'm just getting over the flu or COVID or something. I don't know what I had.
Flu, COVID or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It mocked
Yeah.
me, but getting better. And you?
Yeah. On my side, so
Yeah, how are you?
I'm fine. I've recently just been given antidepressants. I'm not sure.
Fine.
I'm not sure how to feel about it because it's my first time. Mr. Happy-go-lucky, Mr. Happy-chappy suddenly needs antidepressants.
I feel like that's just on the surface sometimes,
Yeah,
behind closed doors, you're not like that.
yeah, precisely.
So maybe I hope it helps though.
I hope it helps as well. I hope I bounce back for sure.
Yeah. And I hope you can get through the reason for it.
Yeah, I guess like it can be a conversation we have outside of this one.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
Good to hear that you're sort of good. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're surviving.
I'll always see the light at the end of the tunnel, so no worries.
Yeah. Good.
So do you want to like tell people who you are, how we relate, what's our
Okay, so
relationship.
can I just ask a question? So, like, do you take this and then put it directly in your podcast, or do you, like, just kind of paraphrase what I say and then put it in?
So in the beginning, I'm going to introduce you,
Okay.
and if you don't mind, I'm going to record this conversation.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
I'm just like, trying to, like, awesome, that's fine.
yeah, that's how it's going to go. Despite the awkwardness, and the awkward silence in the very beginning, I still haven't given Lara a chance to introduce herself and tell you who she is. But nonetheless, it's important that you know that we go way back and it has been ages. So I get why there's awkward silence. So right now we're just going to get into Lara introducing herself. So let's go.
Okay. Hi. My name is Lara. Do you want my surname?
Yeah, Gilmartino.
Yes. And I've known you now like 10 years, coming on 10 years.
Look at us.
Yeah, which is quite crazy. And we met through Facebook, right?
Yeah, it was through Facebook.
So one day I got a request and then we started chatting on Messenger. And then from there we had ups and downs. Yeah, so we've remained friends since then. And yeah,
What?
but even then we've remained friends, but we also had ups and downs after in our friendship.
What?
We were quite.
What's the thing that happened before we became friends?
Well, we dated.
Yeah.
Are you waiting for that? I thought that
Yeah.
was about exes.
It is about exes. Yeah.
I thought that was a gift.
Yeah, and then you going on about
Um,
friendship. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, we get it, but we dated.
I know, but you told me it's about exes, so I'm like, okay, these people must fill in their own blanks.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, we just like had a long distance thing going.
Yeah.
With you in Rustenburg at that time.
And you in Joburg. I'm curious, what is it that you liked about me? Because I can't recall who made the first move. Was it me or was it you?
I have a feeling it was you, just knowing kind of how shy I was at that age. But what I liked about you was just how you always looked, through your pictures and everything, and even how you present yourself over text, like you were always just positive and like you always started the conversations. You're just such an easy person to talk to.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like you like that in real life. You can always just maybe, you're always there for people. So you're just an open person. You want to be friendly with people. You're kind-hearted. That's really what I liked about you from the beginning.
Yeah. From my side, I did like obviously sense that you were shy, but that didn't stop me. Because I could tell that you were trying to come out of your shell, which made it more exciting for me personally.
Okay.
Yeah, because although I think in the beginning I couldn't get a lot out of you, but I somehow enjoyed the chase of making sure that you would be able to, I would be able to get something out of you, and I managed to.
Definitely.
And just to like link it with my personality, I think that's something that I usually do. That I I always see. I don't like always just see people for who they are on surface level, how they present themselves. I'm like, there's more. There's definitely more. It can't just be that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So just so that we are clear, the purpose of this podcast episode is to speak to someone from my past who's also still currently part of my present, because Lara and I are friends. And actually, interestingly enough, I was supposed to travel to the USA around this month. Okay, it didn't happen. But Lara was kind enough to let me know that if you need a place to stay for just before you go in for your visa interview, my home is your home. But nonetheless, back to my point. I'm trying to go back to the young man or the young boy that I was when I was still dating Lara, and just trying to compare whether there has been progress. Well, I think there has been progress. I've seen myself grow, but it's always nice hearing it from someone else. I mean, you can always affirm yourself. Not to say that you should be seeking external validation, but the reality is you can affirm yourself, but there's some blind spots as well. So it's always like good to check with someone that, hey, you used to be XYZ. What happened to it? You know, especially the really positive traits. So you'll take note that Lara mentioned how positive I was about life. Not to say that I'm not anymore, but there has been a sense of being unnecessarily critical. I don't know where it comes. Actually, fuck it. Ooh, I do know. Okay, I do know. Because sometimes that critical voice, it's like your parents' voice chipping in and just honest, like just it's that voice that stays in your head rent free. And you think it's your voice, but it's not your voice. It's your parents' voice, and other people as well. But you can imagine that our parents like contribute a lot to that voice, and working towards getting rid of that voice is hard work. So I specifically spoke to Lara, knowing very well that around that time I was this energetic, easy to talk to person, very open, friendly with people. Everybody in Ghana come in. Yes, the more the merrier. Okay, I lie. I lie. But more or less. Okay, back to the phone call. Yeah. We
So that's
although things were very good, we fought a lot. Do you remember?
yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. I mean, we fought a lot even afterwards.
Yeah,
I feel like one of
yeah, even after the breakup, we were just like throwing hammers and stuff at each other. Not literally,
yeah.
but uh, why do you think that was the case?
Gosh, I don't know. I feel like I was very stubborn, and I'm still stubborn.
Mm.
And I don't know. Sometimes maybe it's maybe like I'm saying for me, I think I just take things the wrong way.
Mm.
And yeah, like looking back, I can't even remember what we were fighting about. Like it wasn't like a huge problem.
Mm.
It wasn't like you did something like terrible to me. It was just like just small things.
Mm. Yeah, it was very
And trying
small
to fix
things. Yeah.
things. I think one thing I can remember specifically is like, and it's just your personality, is how you were getting to know my friends.
Oh yeah.
It's actually a good thing. But for me, I was like, what is going on? Is he trying to like use me to get to like all my friends? I don't know. So that was one, but it's such a petty thing. And actually, when you're dating somebody and you're close to somebody, you want them to know your friends. So
Yeah.
it's petty.
Yeah. I actually remember that fight. It was huge, and for me, it was such a small thing.
Mm.
Because in my head, I was like, but I like you though. I just want to get to know you through your friends. Um, and you didn't see it that way. And okay, obviously looking back, I can look back now and laugh about it. But in that
Yeah.
moment, I was like, is she cooked?
Yeah, I
and
understand. I understand.
and
I definitely understand.
yeah, and considering that you're stubborn, I'm also stubborn as well. So
Mm.
when stubborn meets stubborn, it's no one is
Yeah.
backing down, you know? And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, because
Mm.
you'd come with a point of like, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna one up you. And
Yeah.
you come back and you're like, I'm gonna one up him. And it just goes on and on. And then how I knew that Lara was done with the argument, her profile picture disappeared, her about disappeared, then I knew I'm blocked. It's done.
I blocked you so many times. I think
Yeah.
I'm a most blocked person.
Yo, it was done. And because I'm stubborn, I'm like, oh, she's gonna block me? Cool, I'm gonna delete your number. Fine.
Oh my word. Oh, honestly, I apologize. I feel like I did that so much.
Yeah, yeah. We went back and forth a lot. Um,
Yeah, we did.
we did.
We did.
But surprisingly enough, when it came to our birthdays, somehow we forgot about everything. And
Because you're 2 days apart.
yeah, because
And
yeah,
that's
we're 2 days
like,
apart. My birthday's on the 18th of November and Laura's on the 20th.
yeah. So
Um,
it's always around that time we start liking each other again.
so at this point, Lara and I are looking back. Well, that's the whole point of the call. But we specifically discuss the fights we used to have, or the arguments, or whatever you want to call them. And every time when there's an opportunity for Lara and I to catch up, although it has been a while since we last had a catch up call, we always mention how we used to go at each other all the time. I want to be right. No, I want to be right. No, I want to be right. No, I want to be right. All the time. But there's something special about my friendship with Lara after we broke up, was that we put all of that aside, and suddenly when we became friends, we started understanding our differences a little bit better. And I took note of this when it was around COVID, right? And I can't recall, but it was around election time, but in America, obviously. And because her and I was so well informed at the time, I'm not sure. Okay, I know currently right now I'm quite clueless with what's going on in the USA. I can't speak for her, but at the time we were up to date. So there were so many debates between her and I around what was going on in the USA. But interestingly enough, this time around, the debates would never, ever, ever lead to arguments. And considering that we had different opinions with regards to politics. I remember there was a time we were talking about what kind of leader South Africa needs. I don't know if you can hear the taxi in the background. Beep 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 beep. What kind of leader does South Africa need? Which political party can be trusted in South Africa? Trying to figure out, is it better working with the devil that you know or the devil that you don't know? So in this case, it would be, is it better keeping the ANC, or should we go out and look for another party to trust? Are any of the parties trustworthy? But that's beside the point. The point is, her and I eventually got to a point where it was, yeah, you believe in that, you hold that belief, I hold that belief. Cool. And I hear you. Before, it was really immature. We weren't listening to each other at all. very stubborn, as she mentioned. If you know me well enough, I'm also quite stubborn. And she mentions there was a there was a point where I tried to get to know her friends, but it was so sneaky, man. It was so sneaky. What I did was I think I added one or two of her friends on Facebook. It was back when Facebook was still a bit popular. Back then when you'd post something post something on Facebook for very superficial reasons, where now you just like post something on Facebook to let people know that you're alive, you're well, you're looking after yourself, cool, bye, and I added one or two of her friends, and I take it they told Lara, and Lara just came at me and she was there, how dare you add my friends without telling me? What are you up to? Are you using me? And became this whole argument. And how I knew that, she was just hurtful. So for those who are listening and they don't know what hurtful is fed up in Afrikaans, like you've just had it. Yeah, like she just had it. How I knew that, she's just over me. The profile picture would disappear. Her about would disappear. Then it was in that moment that I knew that I was blocked. All the time. It was a pattern. Things were nice. Boom, 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 boom. Argument, block. And somehow I'd always return. Or she would always return. And it was always because of our birthdays. They're 2 days apart. And because mine is first, Lara would obviously make the first move and wish me a happy birthday and tell me that, all the nice things that you tell people on their birthdays. And I'll do the same. And then we'd go back to normal. I know what you must be thinking, very unhealthy. But it was through all of that immaturity, late that like we finally realized later on that this is really not it. But I also thank us for letting us grow, right? We let ourselves grow. I went to uni. Lara went to uni. And suddenly things just shifted. Yeah. Anyway, in this next part, Lara has the opportunity to ask me a question. So here it goes. Yeah, go for it.
Do you remember any type of fight like to you that was the worst one? Or like what fight sticks out to you? Because like I'm struggling to remember anything.
I don't remember what the fight was about, but I specifically remember it was December. It was scorching hot in Rustenburg, and I had my phone open, or rather I had WhatsApp open, and I just remember us going at each other, and I was just losing it because it's hot. I don't have time for this. And for some odd reason, I wasn't looking to solve the situation. I was just like fighting and see where it takes me. But I suspect it could have been about that whole thing about trying to get to know your friends.
Okay.
Which, actually, if I think about it, should have been a boundary I should have respected. So once again, I do apologize for the quality. In this part, Lara's not that audible. But as I mentioned in the very beginning, it is because, I think it is because Lara had AirPods on. But what Lara asks me is, which fight do I think was the worst? But here's something I learned from the call. Because one thing that stood out was the whole thing of getting to know her friends. But listen, during the course of the week, I was listening to an Esther Perel podcast, right? And I made notes, so you're just gonna have to bear with me as you hear the pages flipping and turning. One, Lara and I were very immature. I mean, I'm still in my 20s, so you can imagine we were still young and stupid back then. And I use stupid very loosely. Very, very loosely. But from that podcast, well, the episode is called Esther Calling. I left. Now I want my wife back. And there was something interesting that stood out from that podcast episode. Esther Perel asked that man that the minute or the second, whatever, you sabotage a relationship, it sometimes, actually, specifically with regards to the dynamic of that relationship, it comes from a different place. It's usually not from the issues of the relationship. It comes from a different place, right? And after the phone call, I took note that a lot of the things that Lara and I fought about, it didn't have to do with my personality, didn't have to do with Lara's personality, but it had to do with other things. So, for example, Lara did her honors in psychology, so she can chip in and tell me if I'm wrong. But, I mean, as humans, we're very territorial. So you can imagine what she felt like, knowing that I have this charismatic personality and I want to get to know her friends. So I like, looking back, I can imagine you're young, these are your friends. At the time, she was very shy and she most likely was clinging onto them like for dear life. Like, I can't let these friends go. Here comes this charismatic human, wants to get to know my friends. What the fuck are you up to? I can imagine it being a lot. And I look at the issue. The issue is not, it's not me. The issue is I don't want to lose my friends. So it made me think. It made me think that some issues are really, we think it's the person, but it actually isn't the person at all. There's something way deeper than that. They're like deep-rooted feelings that might be triggered by the relationship, but it isn't the relationship. So I learned a lot from that call. Who's our next guest? I don't know. Till next time. Thank you.